can you please confirm if you can hear me? Anyone on the call?
Yes, I can hear you. Are audible.
Okay, thank you. 1 second. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon again, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Welcome to today's webinar. So it's already 2 o'clock. We're going to give a minute or two for others to join the call, and then we'll start. Thank you for joining, those that have joined so far. And yeah. Welcome again, everyone. I think we've given 2 minutes for people to join. We'll start the meeting. We'll start the webinar. I'm sure in the course of the webinar, other people will join, and we'll have the recording that we'll be sharing to those that joined late. So thank you again for joining. So without further ado, go straight to our agenda for some ground rules, where we should please mute our microphones, which I'm sure most of us have done already, and communicate with respect to each other. And please don't forget to introduce yourselves on the chat box, because I am moderating. So I'll just go straight away. I'll be a moderator for today. I am Mary Dora Kamara. I am from Sierra Leone, and I'm happy to be here. I'll send my maybe LinkedIn profile or email in chat box so we can know ourselves better later in the course of the webinar. So please don't forget to introduce yourselves in the chat box, because we're not just here to learn, we're also here to network, to find future collaborations, to know each other, and to see how we can partner in the future. So thank you, and please introduce yourself in the chat box. I want to see all of us introducing ourselves. Yeah, so we go straight to today's agenda. We're going to do some introduction about Maggreen, and then we'll try to test ourselves to see how well we know Africa, Botswana to be precise. Next, we're going to the introduction of our panelists. Then we'll do some Q&A, and then we end with closing remark. So yeah. I want to I think almost all of us know that this webinar is being hosted by Maggreen, so we need to know a background about Maggreen and what Maggreen is for. So with that, I would like to give a brief introduction about Maggreen. As we all know, it's an organization that was founded by three young women that have a desire and passion to contribute to combating climate change in Africa. And also it's an organization that's keen to empowering Africans with the knowledge that is necessary or required to transition to clean energy and also combat climate change in Africa. So the vision of Maggreen is to like bring together like-minded people, build a community and a network of people and organizations that are really willing to, that are willing and ready to fight climate change, combating it in Africa, and also make Africa have like a clean and sustainable energy. So next, we're going to talk about the Africa Energy Series, which is a series that's been organized by Maggreen. So the reason for Africa Energy Series is basically to, bridge the gap knowledge regarding the African countries, sorry, among African countries, and trying to like help each other regarding our climate actions, net zero targets, and energy transition. Like for different countries, we have different strategies that we've been implementing in our countries, different things that have been working for us. So this knowledge sharing and knowledge gap will help countries that are lagging behind or that don't know what to do to like tap from the world of experience or knowledge from other countries that are already there, that are making waves, that are doing things that have helped them in combating climate change and moving forward in the energy transition. So this is the reason why Maggreen started the African Energy Series, and it aims to impact, educate, and forge partnerships between countries, like for, let's say, for example, Nigeria collaborating with Botswana and getting experience or knowledge from each other's energy, transition plan, net zero targets, and climate actions, as the case may be. So for all that is just for us to help our continent and make the world a better place in the future. So next I'll take us to the Maggreen team. As I stated earlier, I said Maggreen was organized by three young women, and these are the faces of Maggreen. First we have Mary Dora Kamara, who I happen to be. I'm the programs coordinator, and I'm your moderator for today as well. We have Suleiman Aisha Abba. She is our communication and partnership coordinator. And then we have Georgette Celestine Hudo, who happens to be our technical coordinator. So I would have to stop sharing and hand over to my colleague to just take us through the Mentimeter. Over to you, Georgette.
Thank you so much, Mary, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining. I'm excited, like this is one of my favorite parts of our webinars, getting to know more about Africa, because one thing that holds us together is knowledge and getting the unity from the knowledge. So please let me know if you can see my screen. I would quickly put in the chat box the link to the website if you were unable to scan the code. So please just give me a few seconds to put that up quickly, and then we can proceed from there. So I can see some people have already started joining, which is good. You can either scan the QR code or feel free to use the link that I have shared in the chat box.
I can't see the QR code. I'm not sure you
Oh,
shared it.
okay, I've just put the link in the chat just now, and I'm going to share my screen again. So please feel free to click on the chat box to get the link, or you can simply just go on Mentimeter and tap in the code you soon see on your screen. Okay, I can see people have already started going on it. So our first question for today is, what is the capital of Botswana? Is it Gaborone, or is it Basiswa? Is it Windhoek, or Lesotho? So I'll just give a few more seconds before we proceed to the next question. Okay, more people are saying Gaborone. I'm guessing you have, I hope we did not Google, we're just trying, it's mostly of a guesswork, then we learn from there. So yes, the correct answer is Gaborone, and we would move to the next question. So this one, I would like you to just type in your choice. Which desert covers 2/3 of Botswana? If you happen to follow us on social media, it will be easy for you to know the answer to this question because it was included in our post. But yeah, let's see your options. It was more of a typing. Okay, I've seen one response. Okay. Let's see. What else? Okay, I think the first person to write has given us the answer, which is the Kalahari Desert. This desert covers 2/3 of Botswana. And our next slide, what is the currency used in Botswana? Is it pula? Is it rupee? Is it dollar? Is it kwacha? Okay. I have a tie now. Who is going to break the tie? Okay. All right then, 3 people. Well, it was a good guess, but yeah, the correct answer to this is pula. Pula is the currency used in Botswana. And our final question for today is, what is a citizen of Botswana called? Is it Botswana? Is it Motswana? Is it Setswana? Or is it Botswana? Okay. Feel free to guess. Maybe your guess may be right, maybe wrong. Let's see. Okay, 3 people are going for Botswana, which is quite a good one. Wow. I think I can go ahead and state the answer now. The correct is Botswana. I think Botswana is the country. Setswana is the language in the country. Botswana is the group of people as a whole. Then Motswana is called a citizen, because I said a citizen, not the whole of Botswana, people from Botswana. The citizen from Botswana is called Motswana. I hope you were able to learn a thing or two, and thank you all so much for participating. And I will hand it over to Mary now to go ahead.
Whoa. Oh my God. I mean, I've learned a lot. Thank you, Georgette. So we go back to our slides. Yeah, we're done with the Mentimeter. So now we go to our speaker. Our speaker gets sense. Sorry. So yeah, our speaker for today, her name is, I love it when we have female speakers there. No hard feelings, but it just gives me this feeling of, women are really pushing, and I appreciate us getting more female speaker because, you know, the founders of the organization are women, and we encourage more women to, take up the stage, be speakers, show themselves, put themselves out there and all. Yeah. So I'm really happy. Yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong, ma'am. Her name is Tato Gabasisi. Sorry if that's not the right way to call your name. Um, Tato is a passionate youth and parent activist from Botswana, and she is dedicated to raising awareness about climate change impacts and gender responsive solutions. As the development and administrative director for the world, she oversees strategies, planning, and resource allocation for social and environmental campaigns. And she has also represented climate parents movement at UNFCCC, COP28, COP27, and Stockholm Plus 50. She founded a country chapter in Botswana, empowering rural communities with social and environmental initiatives. And I'm not going to read everything, but I'm sure in the course of her presentation, she'll be able to tell us more about who she is and all the things that she has done, experienced, and all. So, Madam Speaker, if I may, I think I'll have to give you the floor to take it from here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. I'm very excited to be here and also seeing the wonderful introduction of Maggreen. And, like you said, it's always amazing to see women at the forefront of these issues and taking up action. It's always an inspiration, if I may say. Well, my name is Tato. That you got correct. Khabaitsi is the surname. We have a different click beside of Africa. And I am from Botswana, which is a landlocked country in the southern region of Africa and has a beautiful landscape, as was mentioned in the Mentimeter. We have the Kalahari Desert and the Okavango Delta, and a population of 2.63 million. So we're not a lot of people. You're welcome to come to Botswana. We have a lot of love, and we love having guests to show around and to share knowledge with, and also learn and network with. Well, getting on to my work, I'm a climate justice advocate and gender equality change maker. I represent various networks and organizations, but I'm always trying to bring in the perspective as a parent to an amazing 13-year-old boy. We want to bring to the attention of world leaders the need to put children's rights at the center of negotiations, policies, and not to say that youth and women and other marginalized communities are not a priority. So we also want to bring in that aspect of making sure that we don't leave anyone behind. So I think that will be all for my introduction. Back to you, Madam Speaker, if you grant me. Thank you.
Yeah, so you can, I don't know if you have a presentation, because you can take it from here and tell us what Botswana is up to, what they're doing, their climate actions, their net zero targets, and all. So you can take it from here, ma'am.
Okay, can you see my screen? I'll just do that and hope.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So we've done the introductions and how excited I am to be here. I think this is going to be the highlight of the month. So I'm very happy. And I will be sharing the story of Botswana. our journey as a landlocked country, and how the energy sector plays a pivotal role in driving growth, improving living standards, and ensuring sustainable development. So in our contents of today's presentation, we'll have an analysis of Botswana's energy landscape, where we're getting our energy, our energy sources, and existing current energy sources, existing energy policies, gaps between local and international policies, where as civil society and development practitioners, we see a need for improvement and engagement, some case studies of the projects that are ongoing, and then we will get onto the question and answers, which I hope won't be just question and answers. We'll be engaging on how we can do collaborations and network further. Botswana's current energy sources is made up, the majority of Botswana's electricity is generated from coal-fired power plants based in Palape with a capacity of 600 megawatts. And we do have some shortages as we are fairly new into power production. And during those shortages, we get a significant, we import some of our electricity from the Southern Africa power pool, mainly South Africa, Zambia, and Zimbabwe and Namibia. We have an estimate of over 200 billion tons of coal reserves for electricity generation and industrial processes. And in terms of renewable energy, we still have a long way to go. This is one of the areas that we are moving towards as we are mentioning the just transition, the net zero, and other issues such as climate finance, where we have an average of 320 out of 365 sunny days per year. And we have that potential for growth. But because we lack technical experience and we have some financial constraints, we still have that potential for growth and other renewable energy avenues. In terms of existing energy policies, we have the National Energy Policy that was developed in 2016. It aims to ensure energy security, sustainability, and affordability, and how we can have an energy mix and incorporate renewable energy sources. As we know, renewable energy, solar power is quite costly for an individual or regular Motswana to afford to install into the households or industrial areas. Then we have the Botswana Renewable Energy Strategy, which supports the integration of renewable energy into the national grid. It also encourages investment in solar, wind, and biomass energy projects, which are diversified and don't encourage the moving of indigenous communities out of the deserts that they are currently living in. Third, we have the Vision 2036, which outlines long-term goals for transforming Botswana into a high-income country with sustainable energy practices. Now, of this, we have identified the gaps between local and international policies, as we are aware that this is the year that we are to be submitting our NDCs and NAPs to outline our climate actions, as Botswana is a signatory to the Paris Agreement and has committed itself to reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And this is where the just transition falls into place in terms of ensuring that no one is left behind or pushed behind in the transition to low carbon and environmentally sustainable economies and societies, and the net zero, offering the opportunity for economies and communities to expand and develop while still protecting the environment. We also have the gaps in terms of policy implementation. In one of the youth workshops or youth consultations that we've organized, we realized that the policies that are existing, the ones that I mentioned, the Vision 2036 and the Sustainable Plan, youth are not aware of these. Civil society is not aware of these. And in terms, they are not able to conduct their capacity buildings and trainings in a way that communities are aware and they can contribute effectively in implementation and enforcement. Also, that also causes a gap in terms of lobbying for or attracting financial revenues as NGOs and civil societies to call in for the technical expertise and building of required infrastructure. The areas for improvement are the infrastructure development, policy enforcements, which should involve youth and marginalized communities for stronger regulatory frameworks and monitoring mechanisms, financial incentives to have user engagement programs. In Botswana, we have a youth development fund, and what we are calling out for is to have these funds aimed at renewable energy products and services, and the model should be friendly to youth, women, and grassroots communities. There's a need for public awareness, and this can be done through capacity building and knowledge sharing and trainings. In terms of our infrastructure development, there's a need for Botswana to upgrade the transmission and distribution networks to reduce losses and improve reliability. Then we shall be moving on to our case studies, where we see Botswana Power Corporation, which is the main corporation that is responsible for supplying the country with electricity. They have some solar projects that they have installed or initiated of 100 megawatts solar power plant in Tlhakane. The project aims to increase the share of renewable energy in the national grid, which will be infusing that energy mix. We have solar home systems where various NGOs and development partners have implemented solar home systems in rural areas such as the Kalahari which is the Kalahari, where the Kalahari Desert is located, and Gamiland districts. Then we have the collaboration with the World Bank Development Agency, which has supported Botswana greatly in enhancing its energy sector by providing the technical assistance and funding for exploring renewable energy projects. And one of the projects being Botswana Renewable Energy Development Program, which is still ongoing. Then we also have where civil society or NGOs are playing an active role with community-based solar projects, where some local communities have small-scale solar projects, installations in villages such as New Kade and Zutwa, which is based in the Kalahari Desert, which we have the best exposure to sunlight. Then we have eco-village initiatives based in Habane, and it is an energy self-sufficient model for sustainable living and a wonderful case study to explore on how we can take up more of these initiatives in our various communities for growth, for exploring and seeing how we can take them up into different industries such as the agriculture, such as the architecture. And I am aware that also Business Botswana is incorporating some other initiatives onto how they are structuring their buildings as their ESG tasks. Then we have a call to action in the energy sector. This I like to do with the youth groups that I'm involved with to enhance community engagement, to advise them to do policy briefs and see where they can fit in and see how they can collaborate with other NGOs, not only in Botswana, but outside Botswana, to see how we can leverage not only Botswana's local knowledge, but other African knowledge, and see how we can complement each other's strengths and weaknesses. Then we shall be going on to our question and answers. That will be the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's all. I'll check the chat box if there are questions, but please, if you have any, you can just unmute or maybe raise your hand so that I can give you an opportunity to ask your question or just drop it on the chat box. Thank you very much, Tato, for that insightful presentation. So I don't know if I'm the only one that did not notice. What's like the net zero targets for like the year that you're targeting to, to meet all these things that you are doing, especially like most especially to meet to get to meet to the what's the name of this thing? The Conference of Parties plans that we are working towards. Like the year, some countries are planning to achieve everything at about 2050, some are saying 2060, some are saying 2030, as the case may be. You have like a year that you're targeting to do all these action plans and targets in Botswana.
Yes, we do. We have a target to have reduced 15% of our greenhouse gases by 2030. But as for now, our NDC is the one that was supposed to submit is still in progress and has not yet been availed. So I was wary of sharing the privileged information on this platform.
Okay. So I'm also I just something that I want to ask and all, because when it comes to financial aspects of all these plans that you have, it can also be, frustrating or overwhelming when you apply for these funds, especially to implement projects that are meaningful in the country to reduce this carbon emission and all. So how challenging, I don't know how to put it. So how is it? Is it like really simple or is it difficult to get funding for projects in Botswana? Is it that you just get it easily, or because like for some African countries that we have done webinars with, they talk a lot about how they have financial constraints, funding challenges and all. So maybe I would want you to throw some, light on that aspect as well.
Thank you very much for the question. It is difficult to get that kind of funding unless you are getting it through our development partners such as the UNDC and you're partnering with them. But other than that, you have to sort of like present a concept note on how that is going to contribute to the country's NDCs, and there's a whole lengthy process on how to go about it because we are heavily reliant on fossil fuels, coal to be specific. And the position that we are at, unfortunately, is that they are calling for drilling or using more coal to produce electricity to drive development. And there are other projects where they are turning coal into liquid. And personally, from a civil society perspective, I think those initiatives don't really drive the necessary change. And I stand to be corrected. So those are some of the things that disadvantage us as civil society, as youth, as marginalized communities when we want to engage internationally or regionally with in terms of applying for funding to empower communities or to do any project that is climate smart or working towards renewable energy. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I don't know. There's another one that is kind of similar that I just want to like bring the whole funding parts and like just ask if the government also like helps like young people. Like for my country, government has this you know, portion. They normally give funding to young people that are maybe activists, advocates that are into all this climate smart and innovative. They're into all this innovative stuff that help to reduce carbon emission and all. You know, it can be an activist, it can be an advocate, it can be an innovator. So I don't know if like that's just the government in a way trying to contribute also their own part in a way to help the whole idea or the whole thing to go forward. So just want to know if something similar is happening in Botswana, yeah, from the government perspective.
No, I wouldn't say there is specific funding for that. If you want to apply or engage on available funding, you have to go through. We have what they call contact points, but it, like I said, it has to be in alignment with what the country's position statement is, and the funding that is available is for those solar projects. But even that is limited because it has certain requirements that a normal young person cannot meet. They have to have 5 years track record and all of those sort of loan type models requirements. And that's why we say there's that need for improvement for those financial incentives to be considerate of youth, to be considerate of women, especially those who are in rural and remote communities. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Toto, for answering. Do we have other questions from other people? Let me check the chat box. So it looks like your presentation was really, really nice. This one that people are not saying anything. Looks like they understood everything very well. Okay.
Thank you very much. I would also like to add that from my point of view or where I stand as a climate justice advocate, the projects that we work on, we have managed to say secure funding for capacity building by doing partnerships with other countries. Say if we were to do a partnership with Maggreen and we did an application for some kind of funding, that way, that's one of the ways that we are able to qualify. And one of the trainings that we intend on doing this year is to encourage youth and women cooperatives in Botswana to go out there and make those connections and network and see how the environment that we are in, or the landscape, funding landscape that we're in, doesn't discourage them and their projects. Thank you.
Wow, that's nice. That's really good. I don't think we have any other questions or contributions. So that's all. I want to thank you very much for taking your time to join us today. Your presentation was really insightful. And for all those that have joined, we want to say thank you for joining. Please, we want to kindly ask that you follow us on our social media platforms. We are on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. Which was Twitter. When we're at MAGGREN, you can just say MAGGREN and then you see us. Please comment, like, and share our posts. So the MAGGREN Africa Energy Series continues like every other Saturday. Next week again we'll have, and just stay glued to our social media handles, and then you'll be updated on what's next with Maggreen and when we'll have our next webinar, and then you'll see our speaker, and then you can also ask us for collaborations. We're here to collaborate with like-minded people, sorry, an organization, sorry, like-minded people and organization. So without wasting more time, sorry, I would want to say thank you all for coming and have a nice weekend. Bye from my end. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. Bye.
Bye.